Hello everyone, welcome back to the Austin Physio YouTube channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing the ultimate desk routine, looking at stretching and mobility to help keep your neck, shoulders, upper body and lower back moving when you're stuck at a desk all day. So to kick off the routine, we want to start by resetting through the shoulder. So before we start stretching, moving anything, I want to make sure that if you're doing this seated in your chair or if you're next to your desk as you're doing this, that your shoulders are dropped back and your neck is in the optimal position. We're going to start from the neck and work our way down. So we're going to start off again resetting those shoulders back, and then we're going to gently turn the neck side to side. So we're going to do this for about 15 to 20 seconds, just looking side to side. Because we reset our shoulders backwards to start with, we're not doing it from this position. So you want to start to turn the neck from the optimal position. Aim is slow and controlled, and you want to do this within a pain-free range. So you're gently warming up the neck. Once you've moved side to side for 10 to 15 seconds approx, once you've done that, you're going to come back to the middle, again making sure those shoulders are reset back, and then you're going to carefully drop your chin down towards your chest, and then you're looking up towards the ceiling. And the thing is, when we go through this routine, because again it's same 10 to 15 to 20 seconds moving through this vector, what's really interesting is so many people get to their desk in the morning and they don't even warm up their neck, and they wonder why by lunchtime everything's feeling a bit stiff and a bit sore. So again, same as moving side to side, it's all about going within a pain-free range, slow and controlled, 15 to 20 seconds. Once you've done that, we want to then gently stretch through the neck. So my favourite stretch, which we do all the time, is we're going to carefully look over to one side, drop your chin down towards your chest. This is stretching through levator scapulae, the trapezius fibres up through here. So for a lot of people, this is enough of a stretch. And with this stretch, you're going to hold it for 15 to 20 seconds. If you need to exaggerate the stretch, or you want to exaggerate the stretch to feel it more, you can of course use the opposite hand to guide that chin down. So we should feel it almost like you can feel that pull, feel that kind of like burny feeling into the neck. Again, we want a nice burn, like you feel like it's being stretched, and we want to hold this for 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 seconds, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And then the most important thing once you've stretched through there is you're going to breathe in, and then to come out of the stretch you want to breathe out, let your chin drop down to the middle, and then carefully coming back up. Because you think if you're doing this at the start of the day, we've not warmed the body up to go into this stretch. So again, always checking that you're resetting the shoulders, looking away, dropping chin down towards the opposite shoulder. So again, we're feeling it through here. So for a lot of people, that is enough of a stretch. If you want to exaggerate that stretch, you're gently using the opposite hand just to guide that stretch through the neck. So we're not yanking through the neck, it's all about that gentle movement. And again, holding that for 15 to 20 seconds, because if you're looking at your desk or your screen all day and your neck's going forward, these poor neck muscles are being tightened up throughout the day. They're being used, they're being tired, they're becoming tired, sorry. So we want to make sure we're stretching them. And same as before, to come out of the stretch, you want to take a big deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, gently dropping chin down towards your chest, and then back to the middle point. Next, we want to stretch deeper into that neck, into the upper fibres of the neck. So we're going to clasp the hands over, place them behind the back of the neck here. You're going to breathe in, and as you breathe out, you're going to drop the chin down, but this time you're using the hands to guide that stretch, okay? So you're adding in that additional stretch, same as the other ones. Slow, controlled, you're not forcing the stretch, you're going into it nice and gently. We should feel that stretch around the back of the neck, holding this for 15 to 20 seconds. So really nice to think if that neck is coming forward, these poor deep muscles up around the neck are having to work so hard to hold your neck in that position. So to come out of this stretch, we're going to breathe in, and then as we breathe out, gently coming back up. So important, slow, controlled and gentle. Next, we're going to start to move through these shoulders, okay? So you think all day we're like this, we want to open up and go the opposite way. So we can either go in small circles with the hand on the shoulder or down by your side and rotate it back, doing 15 to 20 seconds on one side. I tend to like to bring my arm up and pull it straight back with an outstretched arm, so you're not bending it, you know, bringing it right back, because I can really feel sometimes that clicking, that movement through the shoulder. So again, we want to go for 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 seconds, whatever fits in with your routine, as long as we're consistent, into one side. And then once you've done that, moving on to the opposite side. So again, to show all versions, you can either roll the shoulders back like this, have your hand on your shoulder, because you see what this is doing is opening up more through the chest as well. Or if you really want to add that stretch in, having a straight arm, bringing it back, like you're saying backstroke, moving back through, trying to keep your torso forward as you're bringing it back, so we'll get a deeper stretch. And then opening up through those shoulders, getting that lovely mobility through, and aiming for 15 to 20 seconds. So already I feel like my neck's warmed up, my shoulders are warming up, ready for the day ahead. Next, we then want to stretch around the shoulder. So similar to what we've done with the neck movement and then stretching, we're going to bring the arm across. So some people get really confused with where to put the arm here. So already it coming across is enough of a stretch. And if you get really confused hooking the arm underneath, you can use the hand to guide the stretch across. I find a stronger stretch is to put the elbow up underneath, so you're above the opposite elbow coming across, and then you're using that arm as a lever to pull across your body. So I find that a lot stronger as in terms of a stretch around the shoulder. So you're really pulling it across the torso, across the chest, across the body, holding that there again for 15 to 20 seconds. It's like a really nice pain, like you can feel like it's stretching, but it's a really nice pain to kind of stretch through there, because so much of the muscles around the shoulder engage when we're working. And then to come out again, breathing in, and then as we breathe out, letting your shoulder drop. So really keen on the breathing today to get everything to relax between the stretches. And then on the opposite side, so again, you can either use the hand to guide the stretch across if you struggle to loop underneath. This one for me is a lot stronger, where we then pull across, so it's pulling it across the chest. Again, really nice stretch. If you've been using your body all day at a desk, as we all know, we feel it in the shoulders, in the arms, into the neck, so it's targeting everything through here. So we're stretching around the side of the shoulder, around here, almost into those rhomboids, around the back of the rotator cuff, so really pulling across the body, and then breathing in, and then breathing out. So again, we're holding that for 15 to 20 seconds. And then my favourite is to pull back through the chest. So of course you can lean onto something and stretch. I find sometimes with convenience with the desk, it's quite awkward to do that, to find a wall to lean against. So what I would do is clasp the hands behind me and then pull the arms back straight. So we're pulling them back, making sure your chin is up, your head is up. You're pulling back equally. Again, have the arms as high as you feel comfortable. The lower they are down, we don't always get so much of a stretch through the chest, but it's really good for opening up through the front of the shoulder. If we lift them up slightly higher and then pull back, so if we see from the side, we're kind of pulling back straight, it will give a bit of a deeper stretch into those pecs. So again, we're holding this for 15 to 20 seconds. This is such a lovely thing to do. If we've been sat at a desk, everything gets very tight, very sore. So we're holding that there, holding that stretch, and then a big deep breath in. And then as we breathe out, gently letting everything drop and relax. Next, we want to move into the elbows and into the wrists before we stretch around the forearm and the wrist. So because the elbow is a hinge joint, the main movement is bending and straightening. So we're going to bring the arms up, out and out in front, and then bending them back. This is just a really nice thing to do, just to get that movement through there. So we're kind of bending and straightening again for 10 to 15 seconds, because you think about, or 15 to 20 seconds if we want to properly go for it today, because you want to think about what is going on with your elbow when you're sat at a desk. It is fixed in a position all day, you're using a mouse, we are not moving that joint, so it's so important to move through. Then we want to do circles through the hands. So for 15 to 20 seconds, I would alternate the circles, so I'm moving through. So we're pulling and moving into those wrists. We'll probably feel them click a little bit. Again, think about the mechanics with the mouse, what you're doing. You're fixed in one position with the hands. So really important before we stretch and move is to open up through this area. So we're opening up through the wrists and then opening and closing the fingers. So again, 15 to 20 seconds for each bit. So the circles for 15 to 20 seconds, and then opening and closing the hands for 15 to 20 seconds. So really getting everything to move. It is so worth doing this. The amount of injuries that we see from repetitive strain injuries, from people not moving through the day, it's just not worth, you know, missing out on that warm up before you start. Once you've then done that, we want to stretch through the forearms, and we're going to do that in two ways. So number one, we're going to turn the hand over, bend the wrist down, fix just above the thumb, and then pull the arm forward. So we're stretching both sides of the forearm. So the first one is hand down, holding just below the thumb, stretching the arm out, and we're feeling it around here, holding in that position for 15 to 20 seconds. So really nice. This is the bit, particularly on the outer part of the forearm, that gets incredibly tight, incredibly sore during the day. Once you've held that for 15 to 20 seconds, we felt that really lovely deep stretch through there, gently coming out, you're then going to turn the palm to face upwards. Again, other hand holding just below the thumb, and then we're stretching the forearm out straight. Okay, so you can exaggerate if it's okay with your fingers to stretch them back a little bit more, like so. You can see I'm pushing the fingers down, but I tend to hold just below the thumb, holding that position. Good, and then relaxing, and then repeating on the opposite side, because even if you've got a dominant side with the mouse, always worth repeating on both sides. So demonstrate on the opposite side, we're turning the hand down, you're holding just below the thumb, and then you're stretching the arm out in front. Okay, so this is targeting the outer forearm. You can really feel, so the more you bend the hand down, again, the more you straighten through the elbow, the more you will feel the stretch. Okay, so we want to aim this for 15 to 20 seconds, really holding that deep stretch through there, holding that position, and then carefully letting go to do the same again. So we're going to turn the hand upwards, hold just below the thumb. Again, you can exaggerate with the fingers stretching down. I tend to hold just below the thumb, and then we're pulling the arm out in front. Okay, so really important, hitting that inner part of the forearm, holding that there, allowing that to stretch and release that tightness. Really, really important. Holding that position, a really nice stretch through here. And then once we've held that for 15 to 20 seconds and we've allowed that tension to come away, again, relaxing through those forearms. Finally, we want to start to move through the upper back and then into that lower back. So we want to move kind of side to side through the body. So you can either do this seated if you want to do it in your chair, or you can stand, whatever feels more comfortable in the environment that you're in. If you're at home and you're working on your own, I would recommend getting up and standing and doing this, because you'll get a little bit more of a movement. So you want to aim to do this for 15 to 20 reps. If you want to exaggerate the movement, you can have the hands above your head as you're leaning side to side, because you're lifting up through the shoulders and really moving into the side of those ribs. So you are mainly moving and opening up through the ribs, through the thoracic spine. You are getting a little bit of movement into that lower back, but we'll talk a little bit later how we can improve that even more. But the most important thing is that side to side movement. Once you've done that, you can either bring the hands in front or cross over, whatever feels more comfortable, and then you're going to rotate side to side. Again, it's getting rotation through the whole spine. It's just we want to get movement in, because all day you're going to be static. It is so important to move through this area. So imagine it's kind of firing the body up, ready to work. So we're moving through here. Again, you can have the arms out in front, because what happens when the arms are out in front, you see that you can get a little bit more rotation. It tends to allow us to move that a little bit more, mainly through the ribs, because obviously the lower back is limited on how much rotation it can get, but when you twist and open up through the ribs, it just feels really nice all down through the side. And then moving side to side, and then finally we can look at holding a stretch down the side of the body. So going back to what we said before with that side to side movement, we can breathe in, and then as we breathe out, we can lean over to the side and we can rotate slightly. So this is stretching through your big latissimus dorsi muscle down the side, which supports that torso. Obviously movement through the shoulder as well, but mainly we think with the desk supporting that torso. And that little bit of rotation just helps stretch in between those ribs with those intercostal muscles. So we're holding that there. Again, 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 seconds, whatever feels better with your routine. I'm gonna hold that there. Really nice deep stretch when you're working. And then to get out of this stretch, big deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, slowly coming back up to the middle. It just encourages that slower movement. Swapping the hands over, because you want the one on top to be the one you're pulling over. Big deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're going over, slight rotation, holding that stretch there. It just feels so nice if you're going to be working all day. So you think already you've moved neck, shoulders, forearms, hands, and now we're moving into the side of the body and into that lower back. So holding that there, 10 to 15 seconds, really feeling that deep stretch down the side of the body, holding that position there, and then we're breathing in, and then gently coming back out and relaxing there. You are going to, last point that I wanted to say about this routine is you are going to be moving your lower back and stretching it as you do that. Probably one of the best things that you can do for your lower body and your lower back is to actually go for a gentle walk. So definitely have this routine at regular points, either the beginning of the day, start of the day, or both if you want to, you know, A star, be right up there with this routine. But I would also really want you to move the body a little bit more, maybe at lunch if you've got that chance, you know, 15-20 minute walk, gentle around that lower back. Getting movement through the body will feel so much nicer into your lower back after work.